Fernando Alonso has continuously made fans proud with his continuous success in F1 this 2023. The soon-to-be 42-years-old driver is obviously ahead of his teammate Lance Stroll. One would think that the young chap and son of the owner of the Aston Martin team would be the team's game changer, but it seems like the other way around. And after the Canadian Grand Prix, many aren't finding this funny. For one, it seems the 24-year-old is presently the weak link to Aston Martin's success. While Fernando has been exceptional and brilliant in extracting one of the best out of the package, scoring 6 podiums through 8 races, one cannot talk about the downturning performance of his team member Stroll. While some try to understand the young chap, many fans are at their beck and call for his removal from the team, and who best takes this lash than his father, Lance Stroll, especially with the poor performance displayed in the 2023 Canadian Grand Prix. Apparently, it seems Daddy has a lot of work to do. The Canadian Grand Prix is an iconic race, held at the Circuit Gilles-Villeneuve in Montreal, Canada, where the Strolls are from, making it of course a motivation to be the exception and in a double podium finish. A dream held high by Lance Stroll. However, while Alonso held up his side of the bargain, for Lance Stroll, this year's race turned out to be quite a challenging one. Stroll has 37 points to Alonso's 117 after 8 rounds of the 2023 F1 World Championship, and is yet to finish on the podium, which the Spaniard has done 6 times. This is despite the quality of his car. You would think driving one of the best engines would give him an edge. It happened that in the Saturday Canadian Grand Prix, the young driver drew several penalties. After suffering yet another grid penalty for obstructing Esteban Ocon, Lance Stroll dropped from P16 to P18 in the Canadian Grand Prix. The FIA had issued a query stating the drop of 3 grid positions for the next race in which the driver participates. The stewards had heard from the driver of car 18, Lance Stroll, the driver of car 31, Esteban Ocon, and team representatives, and reviewed positioning/marshalling system data, video, timing, telemetry, team radio, and in-car video evidence. The driver of car 18 stated that although he was aware of car 31 approaching, he had no choice but to remain on the dry racing line because his tyres, soft compound, were cold, and if he had not, he would have crashed due to the wet nature of the track. However, the team did make him aware of the closeness of car 31, and it is our view that he could reduce speed on the straight between turns 7 and 8, and allowed car 31 to pass. Because of this, he unnecessarily impeded car 31. It seems like Lance took the go big or go home saying a bit too seriously. Well, this definitely didn't bring a good feeling for fans. However, if they had thought the next day would bring them better news from Lance, then they were wrong. Firstly, he experienced a collision with another car, resulting in damage to his vehicle. The collision led to significant damage to Stroll's car, affecting his aerodynamics and overall performance. Despite the team's best efforts to repair the vehicle, the impact on Stroll's race could not be ignored. As the race progressed, Stroll faced additional challenges due to a mechanical issue with his car's braking system. This issue further hampered his ability to compete at his best. The question would now be, is this enough for fans to request that he be sacked? In all truth, fans wouldn't have had a problem with Lance on this performance, because for real, the young champion had started on the 14th grid and was able to finish 9th. However, Lance had had it coming for months, and this Canadian GP has people done. This wouldn't be the first time fans have asked that Lance Stroll be sacked from the team, as he isn't delivering the way he should. In multiple races, he found himself involved in collisions with other drivers, resulting in damage to his car and premature retirement. These incidents raised questions about Stroll's ability to maintain composure and make wise decisions in high-pressure situations. Critics argue that such incidents not only jeopardize his race, but also impact the performance and results of other drivers. Fans are also taken aback by Stroll's inconsistent performance. While he has shown flashes of brilliance, there have been races where he struggled to match the pace of his teammates, or failed to deliver expected results as portrayed in the Canadian GP. It is well known that in Formula 1, where the competition is fierce, teams expect their drivers to consistently perform at a high level. Stroll's inconsistent form has raised concerns about his ability to consistently deliver strong performances and contribute to the team's success. In addition, some fans have little confidence in a man who didn't work to be where he was, and used the influence of his father to climb the radar of success. They believe that his position on the team is primarily due to his father's ownership. The belief that nepotism is being played doesn't sit well with many fans. Critics argue that Formula 1 is an elite motorsport where talent and performance should be the sole criteria for a driver's position. They question whether Lance Stroll's results and performances justify his place in a competitive team like Aston Martin. In May 2023, during the Monaco Grand Prix, many fans lamented greatly about Lance's performance and the nepotism played with the team. It didn't do good that during the game, Lance Stroll's performance was far from brilliant. The Aston Martin driver was scheduled to start the Monaco Grand Prix from 14th place on the grid. However, he was disqualified in Q2. In Florida, he was eliminated in Q1 and was unable to return to the points, while in Monte Carlo, a Q2 elimination wrecked his Sunday due to a classic Principality Sunday traffic bottleneck. He was far from the only driver to be caught out at the perilous Miraboo, but he then slammed the barrier again in a matter of moments at the hairpin and Miraboo lower before withdrawing. Some tweeters were found replying to a Rob Myers tweet where he asked if Lawrence Stroll wants to make Aston Martin a serious force. How long is he going to stick with Lance in the second seat? He's costing them hatfuls of points. Hashtag F1, hashtag Monaco GP. Another response with, right, how are you performing this way with such a car when your teammate is on the podium week in and week out? I reckon if they had an excellent driver pairing, they'd be giving Red Bull a run for their money. Despite these criticisms and lack of faith from some fans, many team players still believe in the young chap. In fact, Aston Martin do not see anything wrong in Stroll's performance, as they defend excellent Canadian GP performances. Despite the apparent disparity in class between Alonso and Lance, Mike Crack defended Stroll's play, remarking that the Canadian had done well to get through traffic and score points. 3 days after the Canadian Grand Prix, Aston Martin team principal Mike Crack said in an interview that he thinks Lance did very well, considering how he struggled with grip, and if you struggle like that, and you don't have the confidence, then it's very difficult. According to him, if you are on this DRS train, it's really hard. To come from 16th to 9th is a great achievement. On paper, it looks only 9th. And when your teammate finishes second, you think it's not a good performance. But when you see where you've come from, I think it was very good. It seems after all, Aston Martin is trying to give a good cover to their future leader. Apparently, they appeal to emotions using Stroll's comeback after his bike accident which resulted in fractured wrists brought a lot of respect for the driver. Even Alonso has echoed the sentiments. I think we saw many times in the past sparks of Lance in qualifying and races and then some other weekends that maybe the result was not coming or you got bad luck. The Aston Martin's family might have a good reason to cover for Lance Stroll's. Luck seems to be draining out for the Stroll family. However, it doesn't matter if Lance messes up. After all, his father has enough to buy another team and place him on board. Anyway, we hope Lance Stroll comes back with more zeal and motivation for the next game, especially with Alonso on his side.